Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how I got this shot. So I got these Apple Airpods, and before I started wearing them I wanted to shoot them. I wanted to create the effect that they were levitating, and it was a little tricky because basically I wanted them to be spinning on a turntable and then remove the supports in post. So originally I had them sitting on this blue fun tack, and the issue was to get it to really balance upright because they have a little weight to them and they're off center, you know, so the weight is kind of like coming out over the center. So I found that I had to kind of create a little like hole in the center here and kind of rest them in there, but then you would lose the bottom of the AirPod. I tried a few different things. I tried a tacky wax here. I tried the fun tack. I tried rubber cement. And actually the one that ended up working the best was a Pro Power tack. So it's kind of like the pro version of fun tack, I guess. And it's gray, which is nice because then it doesn't reflect. This is actually chrome at the bottom of the AirPod. So it kind of reflects what's below it. And so the gray is good because it's kind of neutral color that won't be tricky to take out in post, whereas blue really contrasts. And so what I ended up doing, if you can see here, basically this is the back of the AirPod, so I was going to show like a 90-degree angle, and so I basically just created like a stiff backbone and kind of a ledge that it can sit on below so that it's not obscuring the actual spherical base. So I've got a 9-foot roll of paper, essentially middle gray roughly, and I have the light feathering up from below so that it actually is kind of creating a gradient from the bottom and then is getting darker at the top. I just thought it kind of adds a little drama. I ended up propping the AirPods up in some sand. So the key light was a Joker 800 through a small Chimera softbox. Originally I didn't have a grid on it, but I found that the light was bouncing around too much, and when I would get in the center of the frame, it was going into the lens. There was getting some flare there, and so that was going to make it tricky for compositing in post. And so I reduced that a lot by adding this egg crate grid. The other thing that I did to address that was I boomed out a little flag over the lens, so that was kind of reducing some of the light that was getting in there. Still had a little bit of this light leak into the lens, but I dealt with it in post. And so I had the light boomed out from behind the camera over the subject, and it was actually a little bit beyond the subject, so it was almost like a rim light, and I had it just swiveling back and forth, so it was kind of just adding a little extra drama with the on top of the product movement. There was a light movement as well, and that just added some drama, so I didn't want to have too much fill. But I did have these 2 foam board cards which were bouncing a little light into the front, filling the front a little bit, but more they were like rim lights and kind of just giving a little bounce on the edges. And the lens I was using was a Laowa 24mm, and what I like about the lens is you can get really close to the product, and that actually kind of makes the product move a little bit more physically. I tried it actually with the 55mm from farther back, and it was like the same frame roughly, but you couldn't see the movement as much. So when the objects are closer to the lens, the interaction between them becomes more apparent. The post was the tricky part. So I shot a plate of the backdrop by itself so that I could layer that below. Then I duplicated the layer with the headphones. And so I actually had the mask in 2 parts. I had the bottom mask really precise because I really had to get precise to get this tack, this putty out of here. And then the top part, I did a general mask that was feathered around the edge so that basically that was just showing the top half, but the top half was a lot more flexible, and so I could be a lot looser. You know, I didn't have to get really precise. So that was basically it. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. That will let you know when I have new videos up. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to respond. And thanks for watching. Appreciate your time, and see you next time.